Welcome back to the Blissful Badger. Today we're going to talk about my Tyranid paint schemes and how they've evolved over the years. My first mini painting for Warhammer 40,000 were Tyranids. And these 6 models are actually my first paint job. I was just getting into the hobby and I was watching a now defunct YouTube channel called AG Productions, and I really enjoyed the way that he painted his Tyranid models. So I tried following his painting technique with slightly modified colors and paints, and chose to go with a specialized Hive Fleet, Skittle, with 2 Ds, as a play on words, of course, and chose to make the carapace a different color for each unit. My early on paint scheme had me dry brushing, or at least attempting to dry brush, the flesh, and so it kind of muddied up the flesh colors, and it looked okay, but it wasn't really what I was looking for with my Tyranid models. And I didn't have a lot of brush control, so the carapace also was kind of a fuzzy line instead of detailed. Overall, for my initial models painted, I think I did really good. However, over time, my Tyranids evolved, and I got better at painting. With the second generation of models, I now stipple the colors on the flesh parts instead of dry brushing. I think this looks a lot better as a camo, and the details were just so much more crisp. I also got better control over my paint brushes and made sure that the carapace was actually lines. About this time, I painted up my first flying hive tyrant. The wings are slightly more dry brushed than stippled, but the body is definitely still stippled, and I really like the way it came out. I also used a gloss black for all of the claws and bone weapons and such, to give a little bit of gloss shine to the models, and overall I really like the way that these models come out. This is the color scheme that I've been following since I started collecting in 5th edition, and with the new models coming out, I want to evolve my paint style. So I decided to start with my spore mines to check out my new color scheme that I'm thinking about. And instead of using the old multiple layers and stippling on the flesh, I think I'm going back to a dry brush look. Instead of doing burnt umber, nutmeg brown, territorial beige, and light mocha, I'm going to prime in black, do a light dusting of khaki, and then dry brush with apple barrel khaki, and then follow that up with using speed paints. On the larger models, I might do more detail than that, at least for the little Norogaunts and new termagants and such. I think this will be a good, expedient way to paint them up. I do still plan to do a black base chitin, highlighting up into the different colors to make distinctive units, but just speeding up half of the paint job will make a huge difference overall. I want these Tyranids to look like they've been evolving, but I also still want them to fit in my Hive Fleet Skittle color scheme. The current plan is to paint all of the 10th edition models with a new color scheme, and continue painting the old models with the old color scheme. With a higher level of knowledge on painting techniques, I am going to adapt how I paint them. And I feel that that is exactly what a Tyranid army should do. Adapt. I have new painting techniques to try. We have speed paints now. I have multiple colors of primer and an airbrush to test out. I have higher vibrancy paints. And overall, I think all of those tying in together, this is going to be yet another advancement to my paint abilities. And I look forward to doing a painting tutorial of my new scheme as soon as I have the 10th edition models built and ready to paint. I hope this video gave you a little insight into how I designed my paint scheme and how I plan on adapting it. And I hope you're as excited about 10th edition as I am. And until the next video, I hope you find your bit of bliss.